I really wanted to make a video about a movie that I was recommended to see, and I know it was from God, but through somebody else for me to see this movie. You know, if you've never seen this movie, if you were abused in religion by your father, like badly, and you were forced to shut up because religion made you shut up, all the rules of religion, all the scriptures in religion makes you shut up against abuse, against your parents. You know what I mean? Honor your father and mother, obey your parents so it pleases the Lord. All that shit. You know what I mean? If you were in that situation, this movie will hit home like nothing else. You know what I mean? But it's interesting, like, it's interesting. Like all the threats from the Christians out there, like I've heard it all. God knows it. I'm like, whatever Jesus decides for me, I'm good with. If he sends me to hell, I'm good with that. If he sends me to the celestial kingdom that the cult believed in, I'm okay with that. If he sends me to outer darkness that the cult believed in, I'm okay with that. But hell is different for the Christians, you know. In different religions, there's different places where the bad people go. God knows, I thought I was going to the worst place in the cult. Worse than hell. You know, outer darkness is worse than hell. It is, you know what I mean? Sons of perdition, they called us. You know, I thought I was a son of perdition. You know? Like, they're sons of perdition, you know, that's what I thought I was. God knows it as well. It's the worst thing to be called in the cult is a son of perdition. You're like worse than the devil. You are. Son of perdition's like worse than the devil and his angels. That's what I thought I was. Just to give you an idea of another aspect of my life. I accepted myself as someone worse, with a worse fate than Satan himself. Let that sink in. That's why I don't care about any of the threats out there. Whatever anybody wants to say, Jesus is going to send you here, Jesus is going to send you there. I don't care. I thought I outsuffered Jesus easily. Think about that. God knows it as well. If I was hooked up to a lie detector test before I barely was able to attempt to end my life, I would have said, I outsuffered Jesus. I would have passed the lie detector test before I tried to end my life. Barely managed to end my life, by the way. Barely. Like I said, I thought I outsuffered him. I could barely pull off my death. Barely. You know what I mean? I could barely pull it off. Coordinated. Barely. You know what I mean? But obviously it wasn't successful. But that's when I thought I outsuffered Jesus. No joke. No joke. And I've been truthful ever since. You in any of these videos, you know how honest I am. I'm honest. God knows it. You hook me up to a lie detector test. Anytime I say I thought I outsuffered Jesus, it would be truth. The lie detectors would say truth. No bullshit. Imagine the suffering, the hell you had to go through in life to pass a lie detector test that you thought you outsuffered Jesus. The Jesus that suffered for all humanity, suffered on the cross. You thought you outsuffered him and could pass a lie detector test easily. Think of that. That's why God knows. I'm like, I don't care about any threats. You know what I mean? Whatever Jesus wants to do, that's why I was going to flip off Jesus if I ever saw him in the afterlife. If I was ever able to see Jesus, I would flip them off. I would say, depart from me to Jesus. No bullshit. How does that sound? How does that sound? So when people are like, oh, your sucking up to Jesus didn't work, he will say, depart from me. I don't care. God knows it. Send me wherever. Depart from me. Okay. Where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go? Yeah. I don't care about you anyways. Yeah, I mean, you didn't care about me. I didn't care about you. It was mutual. Yeah, I didn't think Jesus cared at all most of my life. If he cared, I wouldn't have gone through that insane suffering. You know what I mean? If I thought he cared, I wouldn't have took so much damage in religion. You know what I mean? So that's interesting. Like God knows, I'm like, I've heard all the religious threats my whole life. I'm like, I thought I was worse than Satan. I did. God knows it. According to the religion I grew up in, according to how my family made me feel I was. I thought I was worse than Satan. A worse fate than Satan and his followers. I thought I was in that fate. That's why this is insane, man. It's no joke. It's no joke. I'm not bullshitting either. God knows it. God knows it. That's all honest I am. I'm like, if you were to hook up a lie detector test to me right now, I would be full confident. I thought I outsuffered Jesus. Everything in the Bible, void. Jesus didn't even exist. I thought I outsuffered him. That's the level of suffering I went through in religion. Yeah. Like no bullshit. So it's interesting. So I'm like, whatever God wants to do with me, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll try to help you the best I can, but hopefully you end my life in my sleep because I don't think you can heal me at all. I still don't think God can heal me all the way or utilize me all the way. Make me what he wants me to make me all the way. I still don't. That's why it's so interesting. I try to go to and help him out. I do. I try to help God out in different ways. I don't think he can help me. I don't think he can help me. I don't think so. I don't. That's why it's interesting. That's why it's interesting. Like I've been trying to get Jesus to strike me down because I don't think he can heal me all the way. I don't think he can. I'm like, just strike me down. Send me to hell already. I don't think you can repair me, make me into anything. You know what I mean? But he hasn't struck me down. It's interesting. It's very interesting. You know what I mean? Well, yeah. But it's interesting. Like I said, God's trying to help somebody that thought he outsuffered Jesus. Like confident. Like no bullshit. But as I keep going, I go, maybe he has gone through what I've gone through. Maybe he has. Maybe he understands what I went through. Maybe. You know, maybe he did watch it all and live my life. You know what I mean? Part of me doesn't believe it though, you know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way. I was saying that today. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way Jesus lived through all that exactly like I did and came back from that. There's no way. Yeah. believed that God could repair me all the way, utilize me, like make me into something, I'd have more of a spring in my step. Like I said, I would. I'd have more spring in my step. I'd be more confident. If I believed in God at all, that he could do anything. All those years in religion, God wasn't helping me. You know what I mean? You know, I pray, nothing happens. I pray, nothing happens. I pray, nothing happens. I pray, nothing happens. In my mind, I'm like, if you've ever seen The Dark Knight Rises, that pit of despair that you can't escape from, that's what I lived through most of my life. You know what I mean? God ain't getting me out of this situation type of shit. God is against me as well type of situation. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. You know, I thought God was a bad guy most of my life. That's how bad things were. I'm like, I thought God was a bad guy. Yeah. So he's trying to convince me that he's a good guy, which is the hardest task ever for God, to try to convince me he's like a good guy. I'm like, yeah, right. Based on what I lived through, you ain't a good guy. You know what I mean? Look at all the shit I had to turn to survive. I had to turn to so many things to survive that hell on earth. Like, no joke. But anyway. But it is interesting. It is interesting. I am trying to change, I am. But in my back of my mind, I still don't think God can do anything. At the end of the day, he'll be that same God I knew growing up. God will. At the end of the day. What's changed? You know what I mean? What's changed? I don't know. Everyone's like, will Jesus say, depart from me to me? Maybe, but I don't care. That's how much shit I've been through. I don't care. How was that? Most people care. You know, sucking up to Jesus. You know, I've been around those suck ups to Jesus my whole damn life. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in religion. I was surrounded by suck ups to Jesus. You know what I mean? He knew I saw that hypocrisy in my face. I don't want to suck up to that kind of a Jesus. You know what I mean? I don't. You know. Like I said, the Jesus that's helping me, he better be the one that suffered my life entirely. Took the whippings, was abused to the ground. Like I was. Exactly. No exceptions, like I said. You know what I mean? So exactly that he, through me, thought he outsuffered himself. Confidently. Get what I mean? Through living through my suffering, he thought he outsuffered himself. Back in the day, on the cross, in Gethsemane. No bullshit. That's how exact this has to be. Like, no joke. Anyway. God knows I don't care. I've been trying to get God to kill me. I'm like, you can't do shit. You know, I know you know it. You watch too much happen. It's over. You know what I mean? I got too damaged from it all. Just take me out. I've been trying to do that, but God's like, no, I can make something out of you still. Like, no bullshit. God's trying to convince me he can make something out of me still. I don't think he can. So I'm like, you have the power to kill me. People have told me that you have the power to kill me, God. Let's make it happen. Let's make it work. kill me, send me to hell. Send me to hell. I'll go there. No problem. No problem. They didn't even teach hell growing up. They taught outer darkness and that I was the son of perdition. That I was worse than Satan himself. That's what they taught me. I'll go to this hell I never was taught. No problem. Yeah, no problem. This whole life was my hell. If it's worse than that, oh well. Oh well. I'm used to hell. I'm used to hell. God knows. But anyways, what I know is that scripture and religion makes people, kids, shut up in fear of talking their whole lives. That's what I know. That's what I know about religion and the evil of religion. I never really talked about this, but I've seen the dark side of religion. Scriptures are used to shut you up. Scriptures are used to shut you up. I'll say it again. Scriptures from the Bible are used to shut you up. Especially the ones about parents. You can't say a damn word against your parents' abuse. Not a damn word, according to Scripture. See what I mean? I've seen the dark side of religion and Scripture and the Bible used against you to the point where you have no options but death itself to get out of it. And God knows it. You'd rather end your life than be in religion or serve God. Anything. You'd rather end your life. I know what that's like. You're like, I can't get out of this. I can't get out of this unless I end my life. I know what that's like. So I've seen the dark side of it all. So God wanting to convince me there's a good side to it all is a task. I don't care what any believer in God says. Any true believer that's seen the goodness of God, I don't care. I've seen the darkness of religion and God. I've seen the darkness and God knows it. I have. To the point where it shut me up. I would end my life before I talked. That's how much fear religion and God put in me. No bullshit. I'm like, I can't win. I can't win against men of God, religion, or God himself. I can't win. It's me against everybody. God knows I saw it that way. There wasn't some good path for me growing up. There wasn't. It was a no-win situation the whole way. The worst scapegoating since Jesus. And even then, I thought I outsuffered Jesus. Think about that. And God knows I'm telling the truth. So that's what's interesting. That's why it's been so hard for God to help me. I'm like, I outsuffered Jesus easily. Like, no joke. The farther I go, I'm like, oh, maybe he did suffer my life. Maybe he did. Yeah, I mean, how else could he have helped me this far? Exactly help me this far. Know how to help me this far if he didn't suffer my life exactly. Yeah, I mean, if he didn't suffer my life exactly, he would have made a mistake. Get what I mean? In trying to help me. He would have made a mistake if he didn't suffer my life. He wouldn't have known what to do to get me to this point. Jesus wouldn't know. That's how precise Jesus has to be with me. You know what I mean? Like, no joke. He's trying to help someone that didn't believe in Jesus at all. You know what I mean? Ever. For most of his life, didn't believe him. For good reason. For good reason. And God knows it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have recommended this movie, The Shack, to me. No, he wouldn't. And if God wants to pull up all my videos on the Judgment Day, I'll gladly show it. He's watching me make this video right now. You know what I mean? That's how close God watches me. I know he hears my every word. He said these words himself. He's walked this road exactly. God has said every word in all my videos videos. God has. All words against God, he has said it himself through me. Think about that. That's how exact Jesus had to walk my road. He had to have thought he outsuffered himself. And then on the road back, being angry at himself, talking trash about himself. Jesus had to have walked this road, even my talking trash in the videos. He saw this all coming. He knows. In order for me to get better and pass this, I have to get it all out. I do. Yeah. If I had more problems with a human, I'd talk about a human. I don't. I have problems with the man himself. With God himself, I have problems. You know what I mean? The one they called them so righteous in my face while I was getting abused. The one they were saying is so righteous, pray to God while I was getting abused. That God. That's the one I'm talking about. The one that forced me to shut my mouth. You know what I mean? That's the God I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You think I was able to talk like this growing up in the cult under the fear of God? No. Fuck no. So I'm like, I don't care. God knows I don't care. If he takes me tonight and sends me to hell, so be it. I don't care. I've been threatened so much, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. That's how much threats I've been under. The invisible guns of religion and God. I don't care. Send me to the worst place imaginable. Go ahead. Send me there. Send me there. I will be surprised if it's worse than this place. I'll be surprised if it is worse than this earth. I will be. If it is, then so be it. So be it. I outsuffer Jesus here. I outsuffer Jesus in hell. Either way, I'll suffer. God knows. But anyway. That's all I want to say. But yeah. Like that I never knew you depart from me line always gets brought up to me throughout my life, through the last few years. God knows I don't care. I'm not trying to suck up to him. I'm hoping he just, because I was told he would end my life, and so I'm hoping he would do. Oh, he can't be saved. Oh, he too rebellious, you know what I mean? Strike him dead, you know? Send him to hell. I thought I was going there anyways in the cult. I thought I was going to outer darkness in the cult. I thought I was going to the worst place already. You know what I mean? I was planning on going to the worst place already. God knows it. You know what I mean? Any place that's better than the worst place, hell or outer darkness, is a surprise, and God knows it. I've been threatened so much in religion. You know, I have. That God knows I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. And I don't think God can repair me totally from everything I've been, or make me what he wants me to become. I don't think he can do any of that. That's so much shit I've been through. I don't know. I don't think he can. I'm taking a chance. I am. He knows it. I'm taking a big chance. Thinking God can do anything. I'm taking a chance. Because he knows most of my life I didn't think God could do anything. Nothing. If he did, he would have done something in my life. Growing up. You know what I mean? He would have. He knows I've just been looking for the quick, honorable death. I don't care where I go after the death. I don't. He knows it. God knows I don't care where I go after the instant death. As long as the death is successful. God knows it. You know, as long as the instant death is successful. That's all I've ever cared about. Part of the reason that I don't, is I'm like, maybe the instant death won't be successful. That's what I fear. Maybe it won't. But God knows I went through so much growing up that I didn't even care if my death would be successful or not. I didn't even care. That's how much shit I went through. I didn't even care. Like, if it fails, oh well. If it fails, oh well. It's better than being in this situation. In the religion under God's supervision of a being. God knows it's confusing that I even survived all that. Only because of him, But anyways. But yeah. God knows I'm good with whatever. Maybe that's why God's utilizing me, because I don't give a fuck. I don't. I've been threatened with the worst things in religion. The worst things. God knows I don't care anymore. Oh, you're going to hell. Oh, you're going to outer darkness. I've heard it all. God knows I don't care anymore. I don't. I would have chose to go to hell before I was born if I knew it was going to be this much hell in life. I would have just chose to go to there automatically. You know what I mean? I would have. I'd be like, just send me to hell. Skip this living part on the planet. Just send me to hell first. I'll just go there. If I knew it would be this hard. If I would have known how much shit I was going to go through. Under God's supervision, mind you. If I would have known how hard it was going to be. I would have just said, send me to hell. Let's skip this life part. I would have. Or I would have been like, I made a mistake. I made a mistake in defending Jesus. He didn't defend me for shit in this life. I made a mistake, all right? I made a mistake. Like, no bullshit. You know what I mean? It's interesting. But, like, a part of me is confused. I'm like, God, I've lived, longer than I thought I would. Haven't I done enough already? Like, no bullshit. I don't think God can deliver after all this time. God has helped me all this way. I don't think he can deliver on anything. At the end of the day, I don't think he can. That's what's crazy about this. I don't think he can deliver on anything. Nothing. The opposite of hell, I don't think God can deliver on the opposite of hell. I'm not joking. Think about that. Whatever the complete opposite of hell is to God, I don't think God can deliver on that opposite to hell for me. You know what I mean? I don't. I'm like, God will show us true colors. It'll be over soon. Like, it'll be over soon. He'll send me to hell, wherever that is. I thought this world was hell, but maybe there's another hell out there with outer darkness of the cult. I've listened to so much religious jargon, it's not even funny. I'm like numb to it all. I'm like, you're going to hell, okay, send me there. Jesus will say he never knew you. Fine. Depart from him, okay. Show me where to go. After departing from Jesus, show me where to go. Where's the place I go after Jesus says depart from me? I'll go there. And I'll flip him off on my way there. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, well. Yeah. A part of me wouldn't be talking this way if I didn't think it was already over for me. God has to know my mind. He has to. He has to know that I think it's already over. He has to know that. You know what I mean? If I didn't think it was over, I'd be talking differently. I'd be more positive if I didn't think it was over for me. You know what I mean? That's how much I don't think God can deliver on anything. Nothing. Nothing. I'll be a man standing alone. in the end again. God knows, I'll just be a man standing alone again, as always. What's the difference? Yeah, stand alone now, where I'm at right now, or stand alone in hell somewhere else. Stand alone. Either way, stand alone. God knows it. A lot of it's faith on my part. A lot of it is, you know. I'm not fully convinced that God has walked this whole road. God has endured all the cut downs of the Christians thrown at me. Every threat of the Christians thrown at me, God has endured it through me. Think about that. He has. If he's endured everything I went through, all the threats of the cult and the abuse in the cult, he's endured all the threats of the Christians thrown at me that think they're good with God. The Christians are throwing cut downs at me. They're throwing cut downs at God through me. I'm a part of the body of Christ. I am. God knows it as well. You're dishing out cut downs and stuff at me. You're cutting him down as well. That's what's interesting about that. It is. I wonder if God's going to make me like take all the cut downs of the Muslim religion like I predicted, you know? Like everything the Muslims can dish out. You're not going to go with Muhammad after this life. You're not going to be good with Muhammad. Like God's endured that through me as well. You know what I mean? That's what I always think about. Like God's endured so many different things through me. It's not even funny. Different religions, different spirituality things. It's interesting. I'm probably the body of Christ that has experienced so many different things. It's not even funny. Like I said before. You've been through this right now. You're going through this right now. I've been through that like 10 years ago. I can help you. Get what I mean? Oh, you're going through this right now. I've been through that 20 years ago. I can help you from here. Get what I mean? I've been through so many things I can recall. You know, oh, this was happening to you in religion. I can help you. You know what I mean? Oh, you felt totally boxed in. No way out. I can help you. Like no bullshit. But yeah. But anyways, it's interesting why this movie got brought up to me. That's what I'm gonna say at the end of all this. It's interesting. A kid abused in religion. You know. The Bible verses tells the kid to shut up. Not speak against the parents. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. God knows it. I kept my mouth shut through many, many years. Many, 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 many years. That I might do a video about despair. My situation was so bad. I know despair like nobody does. God knows it. I still go through despair. I'm like, the God that watched my life is trying to help me. It's over. Despair. Like no bullshit. The God that watched me go through this is trying to help me. It's over. You know what I mean? That's why all this is interesting. It is. And I'm not trying to be cocky or anything. God knows I'm being truthful. God knows He designed me to tell the truth. I don't think He can pull off stuff like He can never lie. I don't believe that. God knows I don't believe that. After what I grew up in religion, under the threat of Bible verses to shut up about abuse, I don't think God can back up anything about lying or nothing. Yeah, I'm like, that's a joke, right? The God growing up, he couldn't do that shit. He was full of shit. You know what I mean? That's why this is interesting. That's why this is all interesting. If I'm honest, I actually believe this is no joke. I actually believe a psychopath has just as much chance. This is no joke. A psychopath has just as much chance on delivering on a promise that God can. From my life experience, a psychopath has just as good a chance to deliver on something they say as a promise as God does. Based on my life, they both have the same chance. Not much difference between a religious narcissist and the religion trying to promise me something and God trying to promise me something. They have the equal chance, in my opinion, based on what I lived through. They have equal chance to deliver. You know what I mean? That's why it's hard to tell if God's love bombing me or not. You know what I mean? Is this love bombing from God and he's just going to devalue me like the narcissists do? That's what I'm always waiting for, is that devaluing period after God's love bombing. God's blessing me. Now he's going to devalue me. Now we're getting back to what I know. This is what I know. The devaluing. They're treating me like garbage, you know? I was saying the other day, I'll just do everybody a favor and just put myself in the garbage can right now. I'll spare everybody of the favor. I'll do everyone the favor. I'll put myself in the trash can right now. You know, I'll do you a favor, God, put myself in the trash. I'll do myself a favor, put myself in the trash. Do my family of origin a favor, put myself in the trash. I'll do everyone a favor, just put myself in the trash and get it over with. Let's just get it over with. Put the trash on me, yeah. Take me to the trash pile. You know, discard me like trash, like my whole life. You know what I mean? But anyways, I don't know if God finds me humorous anymore. Maybe he does, I don't know. You have to be humorous after all that shit. You have to be, or you ain't gonna make it in the aftermath. Even humorous about God and threats about going to hell, you have to be humorous as fuck if you are to survive in the aftermath. You do. Yeah. You know, you're in exile. You know, I thought I was in exile of religion, God. I thought I was going to hell already. Any threats come my way, I don't care. I thought I was going to hell already. Yeah, that's why it's funny. Part of me, it's like, I'm being serious. When I tell you, I think God will leave me hanging, I'm being serious. That's why I talk bad about God, that he can't deliver. I still think he'll leave me hanging because I was left hanging so much growing up by God. I was left hanging so much growing up by God. He knows it. I was left hanging. I was. Yeah, I mean, I was. More than once. More than once. God knows I'm not gonna suck up to Jesus. Fuck that. If he wants to say depart from me, so be it. Gladly. Yeah, I mean, I thought I suffered more than you anyway. I did, and you know I'm telling the truth. I can look in your eyes and you know I'm telling the truth. I thought I went through more than you. No bullshit, no making shit up. I did. To the point where I still think you can't repair me from all that suffering. I still don't think you can repair me all the way. Make me into something of any kind. I don't. It's like, just kill me, God, before I just get locked up again. Just kill me. That's where I'm at. Just kill me. I tried my best. I tried my best. Everyone knows I tried my best. Even with God helping me, apparently. I tried my best, He knows. I did. I tried my damn best. I still don't think God can repair me all the way to anything. a loving husband and father. I don't think God can pull that off for me. I don't. God knows it. I don't think he can. If he can't even get me out of pain without me dying or taking something to help with pain, I don't think God can give me a wife and kids and the whole 9 yards. He couldn't even get me out of pain my whole life. I had to go to doctors and shit. Yeah. All those years asking God to get me out of pain, he couldn't do it. He knows it. Like I told you about despair. Praying to God, nothing happens. Praying to God for him to do something for you, nothing happens. I can go on forever. God knows it. Hoping God does something to help you, get you out of pain. Something. Nothing happens. Should I keep going? I can keep going. Praying to God to get you out of a situation. But he can't. And he doesn't. No one comes in the home. For example, no one stumbles into the home while abuse is going on towards me. No one stumbles into the home to save me. You know what I mean? No police officer comes in through the door while they're abusing me. That never happened. Like I said, pray to God, nothing happens. Hope God does something, nothing happens. I can go on and on. God knows it. My whole life story. You know what I mean? If God wanted me out of that situation, he would have got me out of that situation. He would have. When I was a kid, if he wanted me out of it, he would have got me out of it. If he wanted me completely out of it, he would have got me out of there. But he let it drag on purpose. That's what people don't get. God did this for a purpose. Someone that thought he was going to the worst hell imaginable already thought there was no God, and if he was bad as hell. God's trying to help someone like that. Like, no joke. He thought it was already over for him. According to religion. According to religion, it was already over for me. According to the cult, I was already damned. I was damned already, according to the cult. And now I'm damned in the Christian world. Outside of the cult, I'm going to hell now. I'm like, all right, send me there. Is it different than outer darkness? Is this hell different? Is it worse than the hell I grew up in? Is it worse than that? I can take it. Yeah. Anyways. Will sending me to hell get me out of this hell on this earth? Will it? If it does, God bless America. God bless America. That's when I'll say God bless America. But anyway, that's all I want to say, I guess. But I don't know. God knows I'm doing the best I can. For someone that thinks his life is over, I'm doing the best I can. God knows it. For someone that thinks his life is truly over, like God can't deliver on anything, can't repair me, nothing, all the way. That's what's crazy about this. God knows I'm trying to help him legitimately. I'm trying to walk a better road for God. And I don't think God can deliver on anything. Nothing. That's what's so crazy about this. I'm walking this road with some faith. I don't think God can deliver on anything. You know what I mean? I don't. He's making me walk with a lot of faith right now. You know, trying to follow the one I thought I outsuffered. No bullshit. No joking. You know what I mean? But I always say to myself, God has walked my road entirely. In order to back up some of the things he has said would happen in my future, he's had to walk my road entirely. All in the cult, being abused in the cult. Jesus was abused through me in the cult. He knows what that's like. Like I said, only Jesus knows the extent and severity of the abuse I went through. That's why he's been so gentle and kind to me. He's walked my road. Exactly. He's talked trash about himself after it was all said and done. He has. The abuse was so bad, he talked trash against himself, against Jesus. Jesus talked trash against Jesus. That's how bad the abuse was. No bullshit. That's what we're dealing with here. That's what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? But anyway. But can you imagine the servant or the ally God would have? Think about this. And I think that's why God's been so patient with me. So patient and understanding beyond anything a human would be. I'm like, why hasn't God taken me out yet? Like that kind of shit. You know what I mean? He knows it's throwing me off. The God that men were talking about in life, that God would have struck me down already. The Old Testament God, even in the Shaq movie, he talks about the mean Old Testament God. You know what I mean? Like I did. Like the mean Old Testament God that struck me down. I'm like, where's that God at? He would have struck me down already. It's interesting. But can you imagine the ally? Because God's very smart. Super smart. So patient. The ally you would have to stay with me this long through all my shit. Through all my hell and shit. To stay with me through anything I say. The ally he would have in me if he can pull off. You know what I mean? If he can pull it off for me to be on board with him. The ally he would have in me is insane. With all the shit I went through. You know what I mean? The ally he would have in me, in many ways, is incredible. You know what I mean? If I was fully on board with what God is doing with me, if I'm fully on board 100%, can you imagine the ally he would have in me? Someone that thought he outsuffered Jesus, outsuffered him, survived the worst abuse imaginable in religion under the threat of God by the Bible if you talked. Can you imagine the ally God would have with me? See what I mean? A survivor of all that, even the threat of God against me. I'm talking openly to make for catharsis, to heal myself. Can you imagine the ally God would have through me? Only God knows for sure how many of my videos have helped the survivors of religion under God's sight, where God did nothing. Only God knows. Only God knows, you know what I mean? Like people have told me my videos have helped them. I don't even fucking know who I'm helping. Only God knows who I'm helping. Even when I'm talking trash about the religion God, I'm helping people that thought they couldn't even talk because they were silenced by the Bible. Honor your parents. Yeah. Colossians 3:20. Obey your parents. It pleases the Lord. Obey your parents in every way. It pleases the Lord, even if they're abusing the fuck out of you. Only God knows how many people I'm helping because of those scriptures that shut people up. They'd be like, oh shit, this guy's talking. And he's being honest. And he's serious. He's actually talking against religion. And that mean God in the religion, he's talking against him as well. Under threat of hell, under threat of death, he's still talking. Under all threats against him, he's still talking. I am. Yeah. I thought I could prove God was a bad guy by this point. That's how much shit I went through growing up. My God will prove his true colors. He will. He will. He will. He will prove he's a liar and he will strike me dead. You mark my words. I put my best effort to make God strike me down and make him a liar. I put my best effort. God knows it. I'm like, the God God in the cult would have ended me by now. He would have. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I know that God I grew up with. He didn't do shit. I can get him to turn against me. You know what I mean? I can get the whole Christian army against me. Telling me I'm going to hell. God knows I'm like, okay. I'm okay with that. I don't care anymore. I have nothing to show for in my life anyways. I don't care. Me here, me in hell, it's the same damn difference. Satan isn't in a different place. He's here. Like I said before, Satan and his angels are here. If he sends me to hell, Satan and his angels won't be there at that time. If I get sent to hell right now, Satan and his angels won't be there. Satan and his angels will be here. Get what I mean? If I get sent to hell, it'd be a vacant place. It'd be vacant. Satan's here. Satan's on this earth. I know it better than most. Yeah, so does God. Yeah. Like sometimes I wish they had physical weapons so they could take me out. You know? Like I've said before, it'd make this a lot easier for me. Instead of all that other shit they do to try to take me down. But anyways, too bad a real axe won't work against Satan. A real axe won't work. A physical axe won't work against him, and I know that. Unfortunately, can't use a real axe. Yeah. God knows it. It's an invisible type of fight. It's an invisible type of fight, as always. Strengthen the mind. Keep strengthening the mind. Yeah. I talked to a Christian about the armor of God. He used to imagine himself putting on the armor of God every damn day. Right after he got saved, he said it was a real fight. I'm like, I think I've been going through that fight. You know, because after I got saved, like I think I really did get saved. It's been a fight. Like I'm like, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I didn't know what I was doing. That's the onslaught to expect after you get saved. I didn't know that. God knows. Because the enemy is losing their grip on you. They are. They see that you're helping God for real. You're walking towards God for real. And I was, and I still trying. Yeah, I mean, like if God abandons me, so be it. I'll keep walking. So be it. See how this goes. But anyways, it's interesting. All this is interesting. That's all I'll say. And I do think about some of the supportive people out there that God knows I listen to over YouTube. I listen to some of you. The supportive ones I do. For sure. I listen to some of you more than I listen to anything God's thrown at me. like the obvious stuff God's thrown at me. I listen to some of you more. I'm like, okay, what did this person say at this time? All right. Keep going. But anyway, I don't know how to win souls for God or save souls. God knows I don't care about an assembly line of factory winning souls. I don't care about that. God knows it. Who cares about winning souls if God doesn't care? That's what I've always said. If God can't prove he cares, or that he suffered more than me, who cares about winning souls for God? If he hasn't even suffered more than me, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna make enough. If I don't have full conviction in God, I'm not gonna make an assembly line of winning souls. You know what I mean? That's why when people are like, you should be winning souls for Jesus, I'm not fully convinced in God and Jesus yet. I'm not. I'm not fully convinced, and God knows it. I'm not going to win souls for someone I'm not convinced in. Fully? You kidding me? You know? I could be winning souls for the brutal God of the cult. I don't know. could be winning souls for the God that watched me get abused to the ground. No problem. See what I mean? I don't know who I'm winning souls for. The type of God I'm winning souls for. I don't. I'm not fully convinced. God has helped me a lot. He has. But I'm still not fully convinced. He knows it. I'm not. But he knows. He knows if I'm fully on board and fully believe in him, like for real. And people will know if I believe in God for real. I think they will. They will. Can you imagine the ally God would have in me? And I think God sees the future. For real, he does. Why else would he stick with a guy like me? You know what I mean? Takes the Lord's name in vain. Doesn't give two shits about God or anything because of religion. Abused in religion. You know, imagine the ally God would have in me. If not already on accident. On accident, the ally he's had with me. Despite anything I say, mean or not mean about God. Because I know people out there are like, that were abused in religion, they had to stay silent under threat of the Bible. You know what I mean? You talk, you're up against God. That's what I thought my whole life. I talk, I'm up against God himself. If I talk. That's why when I'm talking now, I don't care anymore. Strike me down, I don't care. Going to hell, I don't care. It's like, because I've heard people out there be like, whoa, I never seen someone talk about God like that. Just be brave and talk about God like that. I've been through that much shit, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? God knows it. I don't care. Hell could be a vacation compared to this life. It could. Hell could be a better place than this life. I thought I outsuffered Jesus. It could be better. Yeah. If I thought I outsuffered Jesus in this life, hell could be better. You know what I mean? Maybe I won't suffer as much as Jesus in hell, because Satan's here. Satan ain't in hell. He's here. Hell's vacant of Satan right now. No bullshit. As we speak, Satan is not in the location of the hell that God talks about. Satan ain't there right there. He's here. Full force. Full force. Satan's here. He's not in hell. In a different location. That's why it's confusing. That's why everything in religion is confusing. That's why I'm trying to discern and figure this all out. What's the real truth? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't Jesus here already? When they said he'd be here a long time ago in religion, why isn't he here right now? Those kind of things. I'm trying to decipher what's the truth. That's what I do. God knows. I try to decipher truth. What's true, what's not. What's true, what's not. That's what you designed me to do. I'm a battle axe. That's what I did. What's true, what's not. If it's not true and I get confused about it, eventually it'll show that it's not true and I can keep going. You know. Anyway. I think that's enough about this video, but I just felt like I had to make it, because this road's hard as hell for me. No bullshit. I'm like, man, I don't think God can repair me. What am I doing? Why am I staying alive? I think about that. What am I doing? I don't fully believe in God. What am I doing? It's almost like God believes in me, like way more than I believe in God. God believes in me more than I believe in him right now. Way more. That's why this road has kept on going. God believes in me more than I believe in him, and more than I believe in myself. God believes in me. It's no joke. That's why this road is still going. God believes in me. It's no joke. No one believed in me most of my life. No one did. No one. I was oppressed most of my life. I was. You know. I was treated like Jesus, for real. God knows it, you know. The leper of my family. No one believed in me, even me. To this day, no one believed. That's why I will catch everyone off guard. You know what I mean? When I'm the full force that God sees me as in the future for him. You know, he's like, I see your future. I see how much you're going to help me in the future. God see. That's why I'm like, what does God see? Where is this road going? What does God see? How does he see that I help him to keep with me this long? What does he see? You know what I mean? No matter what I say about God, what the hell does he see to keep this going? What the hell does he see that I don't see in myself? What does God see? I don't know. It's driving me nuts. No one saw anything in me my whole life. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I thought all I could do was do one sacrifice play and it'd be over. But no. Keeps on extending. This life keeps going. Like, what the hell? You know? But anyway. It's like no matter what fear tactics people put in my way, God doesn't care. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I've heard all the worst things where I'm going after I die. You know, I'm like, let's do it. What are we waiting for? What's the holdup? This life is hell as it is. Send me to a different hell. What's the difference? What's the difference between this life hell and a different hell somewhere else? What's the damn difference? What's the difference between hell and outer darkness of the cold that I was taught? What's the damn difference? I don't know. But I have put all these things to the test. Like, according to the cult, I should be in outer darkness right now. I should be dead and in outer darkness at the same time. I'm testing these lies as we speak. I'm testing these lies as we speak. Maybe going to hell is a lie. I don't know yet. Maybe that's all a lie. God knows I haven't deciphered if Christianity is fully true. Not fully. God knows it. I haven't deciphered if even Jesus is fully true, legit. God knows it. I haven't fully deciphered. That's why I'm not so convinced to win souls. You know what I mean? For Jesus, I'm not fully convinced. I'm not. You know, I could be winning souls for a Jesus that isn't fully what he says he is. I could be. I could be leading a lot of people astray. God knows it. I could be leading a lot of people astray, winning for souls for a Jesus that isn't fully what he says he is. Because the Jesus I grew up with, he was defective. Jesus was nothing special growing up. God knows it. I didn't see him as anything special. Just a watcher of abuse. That's all I saw Jesus as. Just a watcher of abuse. Nothing else. So winning souls for Jesus, for like as I saw as a watcher of abuse, is a big jump for me. It is. Oh, I'm going to win souls for this watcher of abuse in religion. You know, he just watches abuse. That's all he does. I'm going to win souls for him. Yeah, get the predicament I'm in. I could be winning souls. God knows it's way too soon for me to start winning souls for Jesus. I'm not fully convinced. I'm not fully convinced. Like I said, it's no bullshit. I thought I was a better man. You know what I mean? More integrity. I could tell the truth. You know what I mean? I don't even think God could back up his he cannot lie thing. You know, if I don't think Jesus can tell the truth 24/7, there's a problem. There's a problem. I'm not fully convinced. See what I mean? I'm not. It could be another con. It could be, you know. I always thought, what if Jesus went bad? That's what I thought growing up in the religion because of the abuse. I'm like, maybe Jesus went bad. Maybe he just became corrupt businessman of the cult. Maybe he did. That's what I thought most of my life. God knows. I thought Jesus went bad over all the years. Jesus went bad based on what I went through. I'm like, Jesus went bad. I'm not joking. Being dead serious. So I'm not going to win souls for someone I don't believe in. I'm not fully on board with. God knows I'd be bullshitting people. Winning souls for someone I don't even fully believe in. I don't fully believe in the Jesus. I don't. He's done a lot that's impressed me, yes. I'm not fully convinced. I have to be 100% convinced. After the shit I went through, I have to be 100% convinced. No exception. Like I said, he'd have to go through everything I went through in life. Everything. No exceptions. Everything. For me to be fully convinced in Jesus, I have to be convinced he's walked my entire life. He's been through everything I have. I'm not going to win souls for someone that's not been through more than me. 100%. No exceptions. The full way more than me. The full way. My whole life. You know what I mean? Not just my worst part of life. The whole way. I'm not going to win souls for someone I'm not convinced in 100%. You can write that down. I'm not. God knows it. On the battle axe. I have to be dead certain. I have to be dead certain about Jesus. Dead certain. No exceptions. No bullshit. I have to be dead certain. Because after my experience in religion, I'm not going to win souls for a corrupt Jesus. You know what I mean? I'm not. The one that makes you shut up because of the Bible. What Jesus says in the Bible to shut up for your parents that are abusing you. I'm not going to win souls for that. Jesus, fuck that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to win souls for a Jesus that just makes you shut up about abuse like I felt I had to do most of my life. So I have to, you know what I mean? Like I said, Jesus had to have been abused in religion under his own rules of the Bible. I repeat that, and this is key of this video. Jesus had to have lived under the threats of his own Bible, his own rules, to shut up to the authority of the men of God. Jesus would have to know what it feels like. This is big. You have to know what it feels like to be oppressed by his own rules of the Bible that make him shut up about abuse. God's own rules. What he says in the Bible. Honor the father, honor the mother. Jesus would have to know what it's like to obey that in the Bible. Shut up. Basically, his own rules of the Bible. Jesus would have to know what it's like to shut up against his own rules of the Bible. This is big. This is fucking big. And I know it is. It's big. All the threats that the Bible says, Jesus will have to know what it's like to be up against those threats. Even Jesus going to hell. I'll repeat that again. Even the threat of Jesus going to hell if he doesn't obey his own rules in following himself. Do you get that? That's why I'm like, I've been through so many threats. I'm like, you'll go here, you'll go here. Jesus would have to know what it's like to be the worst person imaginable in the view of God. Son of perdition. Worse than Satan. Jesus would have to know what that feels like. That he's going to the worst place, worse than hell. Outer darkness. And then when he tried to go to the Christian route, he has to face the threats of him going to hell if he doesn't obey himself. If he doesn't win souls for himself, Jesus will have to know the penalty. Get what I mean? He has to know exactly what I've gone through. Everything. That's why this is insane. Like I said, in order for God to see the future, he would have to know everything I went through, all the threats growing up to this point. Everything. The worst threats imaginable. And to keep pushing through despite all threats. All threats. To keep trying. To keep trying anyway. You know what I mean? Jesus would have to know what it feels like to face the reality of facing himself. And he himself says, depart from me, to Jesus himself. He has to face the reality that he could face that threat. Get what I mean? It's crazy, I know. Because how do you know if Jesus will say, depart from me or not? How do you know? How would Jesus even know if he was me? That's what we're facing here. You know what How would he know? Trying to decipher the truth about it, yeah. How would he know? What if through me, he faces himself? He faces the body of Christ within me. Through me, he faces himself. And himself says, I never knew you. His own body of Christ, I never knew you. Depart from me. Tells himself to depart from me. Think about that. That's a fucking crazy statement. God knows I think about all these things. I think about the deep questions, like I said. The Christians know it as well. I think about all the deep questions that no one thinks about. All the angles. Everything. What if you do this? What if you do this? If Jesus was in my position, would he face hell? If he was in, what I mean? Under his own rules. Would Jesus himself win souls for himself in my position? No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. At this point, he would not. That's what we're facing here. Because God knows, if I was trying to win souls for Jesus, it'd be all bullshit. It'd be all front. He knows I'm not fully convinced in Jesus to do that for Jesus. I'm not. I have to be fully convinced. No exceptions on the battle axe. It's not just talk. I have to be sure. Despite all my flaws, this kind of stuff I have to be sure. This kind of stuff I have to be sure. God knows. Like if I'm going to give up all these bad habits, I have to be convinced somewhat that Jesus is good, fully, all the way around. You know what I mean? I could be winning souls for Jesus. He could leave me hanging tomorrow. He could. I could be winning souls for Jesus. Like, no bullshit. He could leave me homeless tomorrow. You know what I mean? I think about that. I think, what am I doing? Am I winning souls for someone that's honorable as me, fully, in every way? I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. But God knows I'm living like it's over already. I am. That means I'm not fully convinced. I'm not. A lot of people will be fully convinced quickly. I'm not that type of guy. God didn't make me that way. No. If I trust somebody, it has to be legit. Even if it's Jesus himself. I'm not going to trust Jesus just because his name is Jesus. Get what I mean? I'm not. God knows it. No exceptions. No one's going to force me to do that shit. No one. Get what I mean? I'm not going to fight for Jesus if he didn't fight for me. Yeah, he's fighting for me, yes, now. But I'm not going to fight for him. If I don't feel like he's not fighting for me first. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Why would the human fight for God when he doesn't even trust God fully? Why would he fight for him? Didn't even defend him most of his life. It takes a lot to make trust. You know what I mean? Like I said, I could be betraying every child that was abused under the rules of the Bible if I win souls for Jesus. I could be betraying all those children that felt silenced by the Bible and Jesus' rules of the Bible, God's rules. I could be betraying them all by winning souls to that Jesus. I have to be sure. No exception. Even if it takes 10 more years to be sure, that's what it takes. To be fully convinced in Jesus, to win souls for him. No exceptions. I have to be fully convinced. Almost as much as if I was Jesus and he was me. And he has to be fully convinced in me to win souls for me. You know what I mean? But I don't want to win souls for me. Nope. Yeah, I don't even want to be around here anymore. God knows. I think me being on the planet has been a mistake. Even still, I think it's been a mistake. You know what I mean? you see any friends around me right now? No, I have nobody in real life. Even still, I just have invisible Jesus from somewhere else walking through my shoes at the same time or something. Jesus walking through my shoes trying to be convinced in himself that he's legit. Still, you know what I mean? I'm the body of Christ trying to figure out if Jesus, the head of the body of Christ, is fully legit. He has to be everything they say is. Everything they say is before I start winning souls for Jesus. You know what I mean? I have to be fully convinced. Fully from my own investigation. My own experience. All I know is Jesus has matched me in suffering. He has. So far. That's what I know about. And he knows what honor is for sure. He does. Seems like. Like I said, he doesn't show me everything about him. He doesn't. When they say that you have to go off a lot of faith with Jesus, you do. I'm going off a lot of faith. I am. God could lead me off a cliff tomorrow. He could. That's how much faith I've been going. He could lead me right off a cliff. You know? He could, you know. He could lead me into an assassin to take me out. He could lead me into dangerous territory. Which would be the worst thing in the world. They'd be doing me a favor. You know which threats have been going on in this life? I've been through so much threats that I can't tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. God knows it. I've been under threats on both sides. I have. A lot of people don't know that. Satan's forces and the people that say they're following Jesus. I've been under threats on both sides. That's what's crazy. I've been in the man in the middle, getting threats from both sides while walking this road. That's what the interesting. I'll say this: the interesting transition when you're trying to follow God for real and try to be an actual real Christian. The interesting transition when you're transitioning. The enemy doesn't want you to do that, so their onslaught is coming. But while you're trying to be a Christian at the beginning, you're getting threats from the Christians as well. No bullshit. That's what's interesting about this, right? I'm like, man, if Jesus is really in my body, well, this is going on. This part's insane. Jesus is getting threats from the goodies and the baddies at the same time. They're telling Jesus, they're threatening Jesus through me. I'm part of the body of Christ. They're threatening me on both sides. The so-called good guys and the bad guys are giving me threats. That's what people don't know. God knows it. But I had a feeling this would happen. You know, as I tried to walk away from the bad guys, you know, the grip of the bad guys, as I tried and walk more of a Christian road, I knew it would be interesting. You know what I mean? The newly Christian that just came from the pits of hell, bad guy arena. You know what I mean? It's an interesting transition. There's a fight on both sides. There's a fight. There is. Because when you're newly trying to follow God for the first time, and God knows I'm trying to follow God for real for the first time in my life. That's after decades. I'm trying to follow God legitimately. I am. All those years being abused in religion, I wasn't following God legitimately. God knew I didn't care about any of that. You know, God was just watching me get abused. I didn't care. Going through the motions. But God knows I'm trying to do this legitimately. I am. It's interesting. But I thought, like, as the enemy's losing its grip on me, in many ways they're losing their grip on me. I'm getting the onslaught from the Christians that have been there for a long ass time, they're like, that think they're good with Jesus, like no bullshit. Like they're best buds with him. You're getting their onslaught with them as well. Oh, you're not as good as us. Oh, you're going to hell if you're doing that. Oh, you're going to hell if you're taking the Lord's name in vain, for example. You've been around that your whole life. Taking the Lord's name in vain. You've been around that your whole life. All your friends talk that way growing up. Jesus didn't even defend you. You know what I mean? Taking the Lord's name in vain is no big deal for someone that never defended you from abuse in religion. Get what I mean? You think all those rules are bullshit. You think it's void. Taking the Lord's name in vain doesn't mean anything. He didn't defend you for shit. Who cares? That's what I always thought. So it's an interesting transition. It is. I'm like, oh shit. Maybe that does matter. Jesus is actually caring about me. He's respecting me. Maybe I should respect him. That's what's going on here. I'm catching myself actually taking the name of the Lord's name in vain. About to. I'm like catching myself. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I should respect him because he's respecting me. Get what I mean? Jesus is showing me respect to the point where I'm like, oh, maybe I should respect him. Get what I mean? So that's how Jesus is doing that. I'm like, most of my life, why should I respect someone that didn't respect me at all? Why? You know? It's like he took my name in vain when I was getting abused. He was taking my name in vain. You know what I mean? It was. Every time I was getting abused, he was taking my name in vain, in my opinion. Insulting me. No bullshit. So anyway, this has been an interesting video, but God knows I get a lot out. For sure. If I can't get out in front of anybody else, I don't understand. If I try to get this out in front of anybody else, like, oh, can't talk that way about Jesus. That's why I have to do it on my own. Get what I mean? God knows I've tried. God knows I've tried to work this out with professionals. Abused in religion under God's supervision. God knows I've tried to work this out with professionals. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And God knows it. Try to talk about being abused under God's supervision and God does nothing. Try talking about that to people that actually worship God every damn day. You know what I mean? The counselors will pray to God. You know what I mean? Try explaining that to them. You think they're going to understand you? No. Like that video that I understood that 10-year-old that spit on the cross. I understand that kid. I could help that kid when nobody else can. I know I could. God knows it. I can help. I can help kids that want revenge on Jesus himself. I can help those kids. If I can get through this, if I can work through my own issues with God and Jesus, I can help the kids that felt betrayed by Jesus spitting on the cross as we fucking speak. That I heard about the other damn day. Like, holy shit, I wasn't the only one back in the day that did that kind of thing. Holy hell. Holy hell. Could you imagine the ally, though, that God would have in me? Someone that wanted revenge and felt betrayed by Jesus his whole life. The ally God would have in me if he sticks with me, if God sticks with me, if he does for real, he really sticks with me, no bullshit, no exception. Could you imagine the ally he would have in me? If not already, on accident. You know, like I said, I've helped people I don't even know about. If I didn't help people, no one would donate at all. If I didn't help anybody. I talk bad about God and religion. People still donate because they understand or something. I don't know. They were silenced by the Bible. They were silenced by God, men of God. They felt silenced by God himself. By God's own rules, they felt silenced. No bullshit. this, you know. If I talk against the Bible, will I get struck down? I don't know. God knows I've tested all these angles of threats against me. If I do this, will this happen? If I do this, will that happen? If I do this, will God do that? Like the Christians say, if I do this. God knows I tested. You know what I mean? So I was lied to so damn much in religion. I was lied to. God knows it. So it's interesting. So I'm not going to win souls for God if I'm not fully convinced. Are you brain dead? God knows I'd be faking it anyways. You know, I'd just be doing it for a show, you know? Oh, yeah. I'm winning souls for God. I'm good with God. God knows I'm bullshit. I know I'm bullshit. God designed me to tell the damn truth. If I'm winning souls for God right now, God knows I'm lying, and I know I'm lying. You know what I mean? I'm winning souls for God I don't even know fully is legit or not. Fully. I don't know. And God knows it. Like I said at the Christian church when they were doing communion, the pastor said only people that are fully convinced in Jesus should take the communion. I didn't take the communion. I'm not fully convinced. I'm being honest. God knows I'm being honest. I think God respects me for being honest. If I don't fully believe in Jesus 100%, I'm honest about it. I'm not going to go through the motions and pretend that I'm fully convinced in Jesus in front of everybody just to make a show. Christians are noticing me not taking communion in front of them. God knows I'm telling the truth. You know what I mean? I'm not putting on a show for the Christians to make them think that I'm legitimately convinced in Jesus myself. I'm not going to make them think I am. Because I know a lot of them do the communion. They're not fully convinced in Jesus. I don't care what they say. They're not. If I'm not, if God has matched me in suffering this much, if I'm not fully convinced in Jesus, how could people that haven't suffered as much as me with Jesus, you know what I mean? Get what I mean? They're just doing it because they've done it their whole lives, you know. I'm at the point I have to be fully convinced. I've been through too much shit in religion under the rules of the Bible, you know. I've been through too much shit. I don't care. You know. But it does seem like it's throwing me off that God's sticking with me. It's throwing me off. You know what I mean? It is. Anybody with common sense, this is true, anybody with common sense would not stick with me this long. Any human with common sense would not stick with me this long. Not keep believing in me. Basically, keep, like God has. It's insane. Every human would have given up on me so long ago, it's not even funny. God's still sticking with me. It's throwing me off. It's fucking throwing me off. He knows it. It's throwing me off. It is. Like, I can't believe this guy. What am I dealing with here? You know what I mean? What am I dealing with here? I'm like, is this a monster? Am I dealing with a monster? Talking about God, like some freak of nature. You know what I mean? That supports me no matter what. What the hell's going on? You know what I mean? This ain't normal. But anyways, I gotta get going. You know, I rambled enough. But there's a lot to say in this video. For sure. As ugly as it all is, God knows at the end of the day, it'll be used for good and beauty. Like the Genesis Bible verse said, all the evil against me would be used for good, for God's benefit. Like the Genesis Bible verse that I get shown all the time about. That's what all the evil against me was for. To show for good, for God's good in the end. Let him do his thing with me. Let him do his thing. He knows what he's doing. I guess he's seen my damn future. Apparently. Apparently. But anyways, when I go to sleep, I'll probably wake up tomorrow. That's what I assume. That's what it keeps on happening. I'm not going to die. God will say you're going to hell. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm assuming I'll wake up tomorrow. Again, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's all I'll say for this video.